Right, welcome everybody to a web class or a power hour is what we are calling them tonight, which has a lot of substance, a lot of feel good for me. And it's a word which I believe is vital when it comes to growing your portfolio and why you are doing this. And that word is legacy, the legacy that you are going to leave. And that's why it is so great that you guys are here tonight, so I can share some knowledge with you in the concept and the form of investment and how that can really influence your legacy for your family. So without much, before I go any further, let me make sure that the chat is working, and everybody that is here live, I want to thank them for being here live, can get that chat going. So jump in the chat, let me know where you are joining from tonight. It is always nice to hear where people are from. It's like my go-to question for anybody that's seen me speaking before. And as well, while you're at it, if you have seen me speak before, please drop that in there as well. Sunny Hamilton, always Annie, isn't it? Always sunny. Whangarei, yeah, probably always sunny in Whangarei. Brilliant. Well, my name, guys, is Jono Frankel, and I am very proud to be here tonight to be able to share with you some knowledge. I love the ability to be able to share knowledge because it's a space that I've been very fortunate to have people mentor me, people coach me, people educate me in the concept of wealth and being able to grow a portfolio. So I'm very proud to be here tonight to share that with you guys. Let me have a look and share with you guys exactly what I will be talking through tonight. And it's all about creating a legacy for your family. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, my absolute driver and the whole reason why property was the vehicle for me is because of my family. So that there is massive. I'll tell you a little bit more about that really shortly. But at the same time, the deciding moment for me with property was when I realized that one deal could equal a whole year's salary. And that was the first deal that I did after getting my education through Wealth Mentor. And I realized that I was earning exactly the same amount from that one property as I did as a tennis coach, hitting a lot of tennis balls every year. So I'm very proud to be able to share this idea with you guys that one deal could be your salary. Imagine all that free time. What would you do with it? You know, when you're in sunny Hamilton, there's so many options. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the equity and leverage, two very important concepts when you're looking to build wealth, when you're looking to have the ability to build a portfolio. Understanding equity and leverage gives you the ability to be able to accelerate your portfolio. And I'm going to be talking through that for you guys tonight. Cool. As well as that, guys, obviously creating wealth through your portfolio. I'm going to talk a little bit about cash flow and how we're making sure that we're actually using the ability to get a good amount of income from our property so that we're not having a top up. And, this concept of negatively gearing where you're actually paying for somebody to live in your house. Ugh. We won't talk about that one. But as well as that, I've got some current examples that I'm going to share with you today. I've got a deal that is just getting to the end of its renovation. I've got a deal that's a little bit, maybe about a year old that I'm going to start with in about 2 slides time. But I'm also going to share with you guys, and I can't share much information about it, but one of our students is busy negotiating a deal right now. He was so close to getting under contract this afternoon, but just hasn't quite come through yet. And I'd say by tomorrow morning, it'll be under contract. But I'm going to share with you what the numbers look like. I'm not going to tell you where it is or anything like that. I'm going to share with you what the numbers look like and how he's gone about that. So some current examples. A little bit about myself before I do go any further. I've told you guys already, family man. For me, everything about building wealth through property was about giving back to my family, probably because of what my parents installed in me. From a value standpoint, the first renovation and first property that I actually bought as an investment was actually on a reality TV show. And I know some of you have heard that story before, but I always encourage you to please do not go and watch me, because you will lose any little bit of respect that you do have for me when you watch me leave a hammer behind the wall and do other silly things. One of the other silly things was falling into the river. We won't talk about those sort of concepts that I managed to do on national television. Things have really, shifted since that moment of actually realizing what property can do for you or for me. I'm now the head of property here at Wealth Mentor. considering I turned up to a session just like you guys have. I have a lot of pride in saying that, and the journey has been pretty special. Obviously, along the way, doing a whole lot of deals, working with clients, doing a whole lot of deals has been exceptionally rewarding. And watching them create the legacy for their families, it is so rewarding to be in that position. And lastly, and probably the one point that you guys actually don't care that much about, but I do love sport and a good barbecue. A little bit tired because I did hope that the Black Caps could squeeze out a win last night and did stay up till 1 a.m. to watch it. But Annie, I'm not sure if you're happy because we lost to the English. And no, okay, good news, Annie. I'm proud of you. Awesome. On that note, guys, what wealth is to me and my family. So this is my family, and I talk about it in terms of wealth because wealth is everything that we do. We always think about wealth, and our company is Wealth Mentor. Everyone's like, oh, it's all about how much money you make. It's not, to be honest. It's not about money. It's about the whole concept of your life as a whole. Are you feeling wealthy? Are you feeling wealthy in health? Are you feeling wealthy in what your family time is like? Are you feeling wealthy in what you're able to do from a giving back standpoint? For some people, feeling wealthy is jumping in the McLaren and driving off to the office. For me, not so much. But, for everybody, it's finding your own concept of wealth. And that's what it's all about as you guys grow your portfolio. My parents, massive influence on my values. Moved out from South Africa when I was just 13. And, the massive sacrifices that they made for the better life for me and my family is pretty amazing. You can see my girls there, Isla and Harley. And lastly, obviously, I love teaching because I've got a photo in there, but also that I love a game of golf. That was probably a bit too much on one day. That was when we played 72 holes in one day. It worked out to be a marathon, but we did do that raising money for Cancer Society and raised $10,000, which was a pretty cool day out. A few blisters and a few shots, but a great day for sure. Now, I'm sick of talking about me, and all I need to do is tell you guys a little bit about me so you actually know who the person is that's going to be sharing with you for the next hour the concept of property. It's probably not my favorite thing to do. I feel always a bit weird about it, but it is something that obviously I have to do so that you guys know what I'm about. But I want you to think about this question for the next minute. And the question is, what will your legacy look like? What will your legacy look like? Does that just kind of hit you a little bit and get you thinking about what will people be saying about what you achieved and what you created for your loved ones? I think it's massive, this concept of legacy. And it was really interesting. We spent some time with some of our mentors and team members, some of our advanced students a couple of months ago in beautiful Marlborough, drinking wine. It was a fantastic time. But this word was thrown around so much. It's all about the legacy that you're leaving. And I couldn't agree more. Really consider that. What is it that you are leaving for your loved ones, for your family, as you step forward within your investment journey? And you know what? One investment property done right will change your family's life. Only one. Often you hear the concept of, right, I'm going to invest in property and I'm going to have to end up with 15 properties. You don't, because at the end of the day, you need to find what is going to be right for you to provide for your family. I'm actually having lunch tomorrow with Torb, who's one of our students, and he's got 15 properties. I'm looking forward to that one. But, that's Torb. He loves the idea of that. But it's not for everybody to go down that route. But for some people, one good property can absolutely change your life and change your family's life. And I've talked about the fact that one property could be a year's salary. And I thought, bugger it, what are we on, slide 6? And I'm going to show you guys a deal. I'm going to jump right in there and show you a deal. And the reason I want to show you this deal, guys, is because this relates to the whole concept of being able to do one deal that gives you the ability to earn a year's salary in one deal. And that strategy that was implemented to be able to do that was a trade. Now, this trade here was down in Wanganui. And when you look at the fact that the purchase price was $250,000, we're not talking about a huge purchase price on this property. And you might be saying to me, well, Johnny, you can't buy properties for that price currently. The market's gone crazy. Hold that thought, and I'll share with you later on in this Power Hour a deal that is less than that that's currently being negotiated. But you look at the numbers and being able to create $100,000 of profit. And I bet somebody right now is going, yeah, but you have to pay tax on that. Guess what? When you go to work and trade your time for money, you have to pay tax on that too. So paying tax on earning money through property, if you are trading, is the same as going to trade your time for money. Except this time you're not trading your time for money. You start to trade upstairs for money, which I think is probably a better way to go about it. So, excuse me. I should let you know, I am getting over a cough. I've got in front of me cough medicine, tea, Lemsip, and water. So we should be okay for the next hour, but you might just hear a few coughs coming through, and I do apologize for that one. So I did talk about the fact that this property here was a strategy which was implemented called trading property. Now, trading property can be a great vehicle for you to be able to create more large chunks of profit in a short period of time. Talking about 3 months, 6 months turnaround from purchase to be able to buy the property. But trading property might not be the best strategy for you. And this comes back to a concept which is all about establishing what is the best strategy for you to be able to create a portfolio that suits you and your legacy. Which comes back to our principle that we teach, which is called the SAD principle. And at Wealth Mentor, we teach all strategies. We don't believe that everybody's journey into investment is the same. We need to ensure that you have a strategy that's right for, again, your legacy that you're going to be leaving. So what is the SAD principle? Well, very simply, you figure out what you want to achieve. What is your legacy? What is your goal? Because once you know what you want to achieve, there is a certain strategy within property that you can use to create the opportunity to achieve your goal. So number one is figure out your strategy. Once you've figured out what strategy is going to be used for you to be able to achieve your end goal, then you need to establish what area can this strategy be implemented. Now, what I'm basically saying to you guys is you don't actually have to buy properties that you live nearby. You don't have to buy a property that you drive past on the way to the office. You're better off buying it somewhere where you don't drive past it because you're not on the way to the office anyway because you've stopped working. But at the same time, you buy a property in an area that suits the strategy that's going to get you to your end goal. That's what I want to share with you. Because often you find people buying properties have ended up with an investment property, probably one of three ways. First of all, they've bought themselves a home and then they upgrade the home and they keep the existing property as a rental. How common is that? That is probably investment property 101. And we kind of call that like accidental investor. You accidentally kind of end up with an investment property. It wasn't really planned. Secondly, we find people go, okay, right, I'm in a position to buy a home because I've saved up all this money. And I'm going to share with you why you don't have to save up your money to be able to buy property. You've saved up all this money and then you're driving on the way to work and you saw this beautiful property that you drove past and had this nice sign outside, one of those really cool ones that at night it lights up because you're leaving the office at 7 p.m. And you can see it when you're driving home. And you go, wow, that'd be cool. I'll buy that one because then I can drive past and make sure my tenants are mowing the lawns. But you haven't really figured out what strategy you're going to do and does it actually fit within your goal. And the last way we find people end up buying properties is they head along to a webinar and they're told, right, if you buy this property, it's going to grow in value 10% over every year for the next 10 years. And by that stage, within 7 years, great, you will have enough money to buy another property. I'm going to share with you that is actually shit. Yeah, that's bad language, John. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's just bad. But it is. Why would we want to buy a property and hope that it increases in value? Now, I'm going to share a slide with you guys that shows you growth over the last, quite a while. And you'll see that growth is a great byproduct. But imagine if we can not have to rely on growth. So coming back to the SAD principle, figure out the strategy. What area are we going to go invest in? And then lastly, we find a deal that fits the area and the strategy that we're implementing. I know this is a simple concept, guys, but if you apply this to your investment, I guarantee you will make better decisions and you end up with a better portfolio, leaving a better legacy for those people that you love. Guarantee it. So what are the strategies that you might be implementing? Now, I'm going to share with you as I guess, the 5 strategies, but within that, each of these different strategies have almost like sub-strategies as well that might work for you as an investor. But this is how we could be looking to build our portfolio. And you might say, well, John, why do you have owning a home on it? Owning a home is not an investment, but it can be if it's done correctly. If you are purchasing an owner-occupied with the right intention and the right buying rules and the right ability to be able to create equity and create wealth, brilliant. If that's the strategy because you've got a KiwiSaver, brilliant. Buy and hold, well, that's your go-to. We see that all around the place where you just buy your property, you rent it out, and you enjoy the cash flow and the gain. As long as you buy it well, you're going to get the cash flow. Trading and flipping, I've already shared with you guys a deal in that space. And great option. It's actually a bit of a passion for me because my initial investing was all around flipping properties, and it actually gave me a great foundation to accelerate from there. Multi-income properties, getting multiple streams of income from one dwelling. Might be a sleep out, it might be units. There's a few options in that space. Could even be boarding houses. It could be for you. I'm not saying you have to implement all these strategies because, again, it comes back to what are you guys looking to do. And lastly, developments. Might not be for you, but there's people that are achieving some great wealth through developments. So now I'll get to throw a little bit of a curly one to you guys. And for those of you that haven't seen this before, I'd love some feedback into what you think about this concept right here. And it's probably the first time you've headed to a property investment webinar, and the dude behind the screen has said, don't worry about buying property, that's going to increase in value. Increasing in value got nothing to do with it. And you're probably like, right, this Jono guy's a bit crazy. We'll hang around a bit longer and see what he's got to say. But hey, to be fair, guys, this is really, really important, because what this does, you buy the property based on its current position, based on the current numbers, based on the current cash flow, equity gain, profit from a trade. We don't buy and hope. We don't buy and hope. Now, in saying that, and I know that I'm just going to completely contradict myself, but if we can go and buy property knowing that we can increase the value of the property, and I'm going to share with you how you do that, know that we're getting the cash flow, but at the same time, we've seen for the last hundreds of years, property double in value every 7 to 10 years. Isn't that a great byproduct? Isn't that a great bonus that we get? Imagine going into investment not requiring the properties to increase in value based on buying well. That is something I'd love for you guys to consider. But I'm going to show you just from a concept of if you were to build a portfolio and you were able to get some growth within a portfolio, what that could look like. Because coming back to the last 7 to 10 years, properties have doubled for the last hundreds of years. So what does that look like in terms of growth within a property? Now, this slide here shows what would happen in terms of growth over a portfolio of 5% for 5 years. We've probably seen a position where growth has gone quite substantially more than that. Well, if we go back 6 months, and again, we've seen some dips in some areas, but overall, we could say 5% is fairly conservative. What that would then look like if you were able to have 4 properties within your portfolio and enjoy just 5% growth on that portfolio every year, what you would end up with is a $5 million portfolio with a $3 million loan, $2 million of equity, and having a gain of $1 million. And Jono's telling you, don't worry about growth. And then I'm showing you this. This is the beautiful bonus on top. This is the cream on top that you don't need, but is a great thing when you can add to your portfolio. And then if we say, okay, well, properties have doubled in value since 7 to 10 years, so why don't we go 10 years down the track and see how that looks? What you would end up with is quite a substantial property with $1 million equity in each of them. We're now talking about $4 million worth of equity. Pretty cool to see that grow. And again, I'm going to say it, you don't need the growth. You don't need the growth. Now, if some of you right now are going, Jono, you're a bit nuts, but I'd like to speak to you. Perfect, because I'd like to speak to you. And all you need to do is pull your phone out, scan open the camera, scan that, and you'll be able to book a call with me. Now, you guys might see that beautiful Carol has joined me on the call tonight. Carol is the other person that if my calendar is booked, then you're going to get to, and probably a bit of a bonus, to be honest, because Carol is way cool. I mean, you get to talk to Carol as well. But the way the booking system is set up, it will book into my calendar if there is availability. Please jump on there and book a call. Let's talk it through. Let's see how you consider these concepts. Now, I've thrown around the idea of equity, the idea of having equity within a property. So let's talk about what is equity. Because equity is essentially the ability to have, let's say that you've got $1 million property, but you have a $400,000 of loan, so ASB, ANZ, Resimac, one of the lenders. You now have a position where you have $600,000 of equity in the property. Now that's pretty cool. You've got $600,000 of wealth. Now that's probably going to help with retirement, no doubt about it, but you probably want to add a little bit more to that. But at the same time, what is equity actually doing for you if you're not able to actually use it? You can't go, you know what, I'm going to head down to the dairy, I'm just going to grab a couple of ice creams and, you know, just chuck it on the equity, all good. It doesn't quite work like that. But you can use the equity if you know how. And the way we know how to be able to use equity comes back to another concept, which is LVR. Limbs of time. LVR. LVR stands for loan to value ratio. Now, for those of you that are not based in New Zealand or come from somewhere else, you might hear LTV, loan to value. Basically, what the concept of loan to value ratio is. How much a lender is willing to lend to you based on the value of the property. You hear within the Reserve Bank that they have recommendations, and they will recommend on your own home an 80% loan to value ratio currently. So what that means then is that if you have the ability to borrow 80%, the bank is willing to lend you $800,000 based on your $1 million property. Pretty cool. But what we could then do is see how that LVR gives us the ability to be able to go and buy more properties. And that is the concept of usable equity. Now, again, I told you you couldn't go down the dairy with your equity. Usable equity can't go down the dairy either, unless you set up specifically for the dairy. But we can talk about that if you need to head to the dairy and use equity. But let's jump in and have a look at the idea of using usable equity. You got a property worth $1 million. The bank's willing to lend you $800,000 based on the value. But if you remember, you've got a $400,000 loan on the property. Back to the bank, back to the lender. What that means is you've essentially now got the ability to use $400,000 of equity. Now, there is some concepts or some things to consider. One of those is serviceability. And if serviceability is an issue, great, I'd love to chat because there's ways around that. But you know, it's important to understand that you actually have the ability to use $400,000 within your investment. Because if you don't use the equity, what's it actually doing for you? Let's think of it as a complete picture. If you've got $400,000 sitting there of usable equity, if you don't draw it down, you're saving yourself 5% interest. I'm just going 5% because that's approximately what we pay now, maybe 5%. You're saving yourself 5% interest. But what about if you could take that $400,000 and leverage it and create a whole lot more income on the property that you're purchasing? Basically saying that $400,000 is the deposit that you're using for your investments. If you've got a home with equity in it, look to use it, because right now is the best time to be buying property, probably in the last long time. That's how long is the most technical term you'll hear all night. So how do we leverage the equity and how do we actually work that out? First of all, we take our usable equity, remember going back $400,000, divide that by how much deposit you require. Currently, if you go to the main banks, they require 40% deposit for an investment property. You don't always have to go mainstream banks. So I'm going to show you a deal that's not with one. And you then work out how much purchasing power you have. Let me run through that for you guys. Again, we've got our $1 million, can take $400,000 out. So if we've got 60% loan to value ratio, we take $400,000. Now, again, guys, if I'm going too fast, don't worry. We do have further options for you guys to keep growing and learning the stuff, or just book a call and let me explain it to you. If I'm going too slow, then keep learning, because I've got some cool stuff coming up really shortly for you guys. So we divide that by 40%, what that's going to end up giving us. Based on that equity that we had sitting in the property, we can go and buy a property for $1 million with no more money put into the deal. Leveraging equity may seem like a crazy idea. And yes, you are getting more lending, but you buy properties that create income. So how does that look? Do you want to see an example? Yes, you don't really have a choice, because I'm about to show you one. And I'm going to show you a deal that's recently been done by one of our students out of Napier. Now, I'm going to run through the numbers for you guys here, just so that you understand exactly how this is stacked up. So this property was purchased at $733,500. Yes, it's a bit of a random number. I can explain that to you guys if you want another time as to why that ended up like that. The renovation on this property was $35,000. Actually, 2 3-bedroom homes within this purchase. The property, after all expenses, is creating $13,000 of income. That's over $1,000 a month, just rolling into your bank account as passive income. Very nice, I agree. Now, the other bonus, and the key bonus, is the fact that we've got a new value coming on this property based on discussions, based on knowledge, based on area experts, of $950,000. And I can confirm that that is a conservative number. When you look at that, that is creating 733 plus the 35, what we're in for about 770 up to 950, $180,000 of equity gain, $180,000 of wealth, $180,000 that your legacy is improved by one purchase that could be purchased using equity in your home. Because when you use equity in your home, you are borrowing all the money to purchase the property. You're not having to put any cash in. The bank's going, right, you've got this equity, that can be your deposit, but you're borrowing that part. So essentially meaning you're borrowing 100% of the money, just like this property here. And it's still creating over $1,000 of cash flow per month on 100% lending. That there is very, very short. Sorry, that property was only settled in late August. The renovation on one of the units has not even finished. And the valuation will be coming back in those values. So very short time frame to be able to create that, not needing the 7 to 10 years to grow in value to be able to then jump to the next property, which is really, really cool for this one. So I ask you on this time, what's the formula for us to be able to go again? I've just shown you how you can take equity from your home and buy a property that's creating you $1,000 per month cash flow and $180,000 of equity in one deal. Would that one deal make a difference to your life? Probably. Probably. So what's the formula to be able to then do it again? And again. And again. And again, until you reach those financial goals, until you reach your goals that you're going to be able to leave a legacy. It's the most simple formula, guys, but you need to understand it. And this is a simple concept that you need to consider with every property that you purchase. Buy below value, add perceived value, and you'll get your equity gain. And this is why I tell you to buy property as though it's never going to increase in value and you can create the wealth. And then if you think back to the fact that we could get some growth, notice how I say could, should, but let's go with could, get some growth. It just amplifies and we got the cream on top. So what do we do once we've had this equity gain? Well, we revalue the property, we refinance it, and we go again. Because we've got income coming in from our properties, we're not having serviceability issues. We have the ability to create equity, so we have the ability to continue to leverage into the next property. And your other option is you trade it. you on-sell the property for a profit. Really cool to be able to see what our students are able to do, these sort of deals. I agree, Surya. A great find. So remember, guys, we're going to buy property as though it's never going to increase in value. So let me show you an example before I go into the other side of the numbers for this really great property from Napier. So if you were then to purchase your investment property using the same principles, we purchase investment property, $300,000. We've got a 60% loan to value ratio based on our mainstream lending. Again, you don't need to use mainstream lending. There's other options out there that you need to learn about. You're going to need to put a deposit in of $120,000. This is taking into account not leveraging your equity to get that first investment property, just for the clarity there. Meaning you've got a mortgage of $180,000. But we follow the principle, which was buy, add below value, add perceived value. So if we then follow that concept and we now have a property worth $500,000, this same property, we can now take out a new mortgage based on the 60% loan of $300,000. So everybody follow this? But if we go back one step, we actually had $180,000 of mortgage on the property currently. So what that means, we've got $120,000 of usable equity that we've created on this property. A $300,000 property created the $120,000 usable equity. So let's run our calculations again. 120 divided by 40 equals $300,000. That pause was for effect because yes, we just took the idea of buying a property for $300,000, adding value, refinancing it, and then going to buy another property for $300,000, not needing to put any more money into the property. Cool, isn't it? It's not rocket science, but we need to understand it to be able to build our portfolios. So what I want to do for you, just to give you some clarity, I guess, and some understanding, because I shared with you that property before that Litsa did. And for that property, she was able to use 100% lending. Remember, she borrowed all the money from the bank based on an equity that she had in her home. But what about if she actually came in and got lending on the property? Because she did have options of getting lending from a lender, I'm not going to share which one just yet, at 70% loan to value ratio. Now, if that was the way that this deal was gone down, they would have had to put in a deposit of $222,000, meaning they get lending of just over $500,000, new value, but we got more cash flow because you've got less money and borrowed, more cash flow. Interesting thing is it's actually better to have less cash flow with no money in. If you want to know more about that, I'll show you guys how you can learn more about that because it's pretty cool. But remember, we're all about the refinance. So now we have a property worth $950. We now can get lending based on the new property at $665. Remember, this is 70% of the loan, of the value, excuse me. The old loan we had on this property of $511 and a reno of $35, meaning that we now have the ability to take $153,000 out of the deal. If you then would take that $153,000 and leverage it at 70% LVR, you would have buying power using just the equity created in this property to go and buy another property of $500,000. And people wonder how people are able to build portfolios in short periods of time. We're talking buying properties every 3 to 6 months. It's the knowledge. That's all it is. These deals are out there, probably even more so now than ever, by the way. Beautiful time to be buying property. And the property would be cash flowing back at that $13,000. Pretty cool. Let me know in the chat who wants one. Who wants one? I'm not giving them away, but yeah, I can teach you how to do it if you want. Just Carol. Okay, Carol, you know how to do it anyway. I've already taught you that. Cool. Now, the concept is that we need to be able to add value to the property. Adding value is vital because remember, that's how we get the equity gain. So let me share with you guys 10 ways that you can add value to your portfolio. Cosmetic renovation. My favorite saying, put some lipstick on a pig. Not really relevant to some degrees, but making things look prettier. We are, and I'm going to clarify this right now, any student that I work with, do not create slumlords. We're not putting rubbish properties on the market. We put great products on the market. That is important, and I will not work with somebody that does not do that. But cosmetic renovations is bringing it up to stand, new carpets, potentially new bench tops, bringing it up to a nice standard. Structural renovations, changing the layouts in the property. Consider extensions. Now, as I go through these, the next time you guys are looking at a property transaction, bring this list up, take a screenshot of it and go, can I do any of these? Do I have the ability to do any of these? Because any of these that you exercise within a property is going to give you the ability to add some really great value to your portfolio. And we know now that adding value to our portfolio gives us the ability to leverage that equity and build a portfolio. So make sure you guys grab a screenshot of that one. I'll talk for just a couple of seconds more on this before I click over, because you definitely want this. Now, I'm going to share with you guys really shortly what we have coming up in terms of an event, a 2-day event. And the reason we've done it as a 2-day event, we've done it as a 3-day, and I'm going to give you some details soon. But what we found is people can't get time off work. So simple, I'm going to put on a 2-day event, Saturday, Sunday. You come to that and you'll learn how to be able to take time off work because you'll be earning money from property. That's the plan. Because we don't just buy off the plan. We don't just buy off the plan and hope, because buying off the plan and hoping is probably going to put you in a position where you're going to have to wait a long time. You won't get the cash flow. Excuse me. And you're not going to be able to build your portfolio that you desire for you and your family. Who wants to talk it through? There you go. I'll put it up again. Get your phones out. Even if you don't want to talk through what I'm talking about, you just want to catch up, I'm cool with that too. I like talking to people. Book a call. Let's have a catch up. Awesome. Now, as I shared with you guys tonight, a few different ideas, and I can't wait to be able to share with you that deal that our client is currently negotiating. But everybody's journey through property is very different. I've got Carol here as part of the Wealth Mentor team. Her journey is different to mine. And I'm going to share with you guys some other mentors as part of the team. Each one of us has had a different journey. And that's all right. But having the education is going to be able to make sure that you can speed up your journey through your portfolio and creating your wealth. And importantly, reduce the risk. Is there risk? I believe there is. I've seen many people buy the wrong type of property before they come to us and learn how to do it properly. Education is key. Like I said, we do have our 2-day event. Again, let's probably say 3-day event, because we've done it over 3 days. We're cramming everything into 2 days for you guys. Why not finish the year with an absolute bang? Finish the year learning how you can build a portfolio through 2023 that's going to absolutely change the life for you and your family. Very, very, one of the most amazing events. The feedback every single time is phenomenal from people. And we're going to offer this at a phenomenal value. It's going to be only $295. I've already told you guys, oops, a bit early, but anyway, it's a ridiculous price. This is one of the quotes from one of our students who went through the event, definitely loving the idea of what they can learn through coming and growing through the process. Now, because of how I like to do things, I love to teach. I've shared with you the property masterclass. It's amazing. But you know what? There's something I need you guys to consider to take away from today's Power Hour. And that is your portfolio balanced? Is your portfolio balanced? You might be saying to yourself, well, what does that mean? What that means is if right now you are going to the lenders and they're saying, no, I'm sorry, you can't get lending right now, then unfortunately, we're in a position that your portfolio is not balanced. And the balance is between cash flow and equity. And I'm going to leave you with this concept before I share with you guys some other, one more deal. and a little bit more about the masterclass. But this concept, if you're in a position where serviceability is an issue, buy high cash flowing. If you're in a position where your equity and your actual wealth is low, buy high equity properties. Balance your portfolio so that you can accelerate and buy multiple properties. Again, if you want to know more, guys, I've shared the link for booking a call with me many, many times. Right. Cash flow is great. It's great. You know, but when you got the growth as a byproduct, when you've got a portfolio that's growing, it is amazing. Remember, guys, cash flow and equity creation is definitely the key concepts that you need to take away. Now, I've mentioned mentors, I've mentioned team. Let me share with you guys the team that is at our property masterclass and the knowledge. Don't forget, I'm still going to be sharing with you guys the deal that one of our students is negotiating. These are some of the team that will be joining us. Belinda, well, she has created an exceptional portfolio. I'm going to give you a number, guys. Her cash flow on her portfolio is in excess of $250,000 since she met the Wealth Mentor team only 4 years ago. She's one of the team. Therese, amazing portfolio. She's like the queen of Invercargill. Paul Southey's built over 700 homes, a beautiful, beautiful soul, an amazing knowledge. Ryan is known as our resident economist, amazing knowledge in everything that he teaches. He shares with you guys during the masterclass and a whole hour on the market conditions. It's a beautiful, beautiful subject that he talks through. Carol, she's here tonight. She's joins us on the masterclass. She shares with you guys social housing. What a great advantage from a tax purposes to understand social housing, because there's not a lot of knowledge out there. There's opportunities to learn so much of that. Helen, well, we call her Humble Helen. Her portfolio is well in excess of $10 million. Accountant by trade. She shares with us the tax secrets. She also shares with us boarding houses and strategies. Amazing knowledge. The team is phenomenal. These are the best people that you will see over the weekend. And don't worry, I will head along as well and be there for you guys over the weekend as well. So looking forward to be able to share a couple of days with you guys, changing your future within investment property. Again, those dates is the 19th and 20th of November. Now, this here, guys, is the not to book a call with me, but if you're keen to join us on the Property Masterclass. Now, it's nice and simple. When you head along, make sure you put in the code DEAL295, because I am offering this at a ridiculous option tonight, a ridiculous ability at only to pick it up for only $295. This has been offered up to $3,500 in the previously, so make sure you jump on that opportunity. Here's what we will be covering off over the 3 days. Now, you better be quick because there is a lot that we cover off over the 3 days. I'm going to give you guys a couple of key things that we do. One, we play a game that's going to completely throw you, but learn so much in terms of what property is all about. We go through the different taxes. We go through buying rules. We'll send you away knowing exactly how you can make sure the deal is right for you guys. We'll give you all the formulas you need. We're going to go through how you can use other people's money. We're even going to show you how you can make money out of thin air. That's a silly comment. That's John O'Guy. It's crazy, but yes, we do that. We'll show you how you can make money out of thin air. It's pretty amazing. We'll show you how you can work on the development space, social housing space, boarding houses, trading property. Guys, I've shown you some trades. I spend an hour on trades during the Property Masterclass. That there is an opportunity to learn exactly how you can do one deal that'll cover your whole salary for a year on one deal analysis. We even do a one-on-one consultation. You and the mentor, one of my team, sit down and spend 20 minutes working through your situation. It's pretty amazing. I'm not sure I'm doing it justice, but ask anyone there's a few people here that have attended in the past. Ask any of them if they can jump in the chat and let us know. It is pretty amazing, the Property Masterclass. Now, I told you that I would be sharing with you guys a deal that one of our students is negotiating currently. I can't give you any details in terms of where it is or any much more than that, but I'm going to share with you how the numbers are stacking up. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it's looking very, very likely. You told me that we couldn't buy properties for under $250,000. How about $150,000 purchase? Now, don't get me wrong, it's going to need a big renovation. We're talking about $145,000 of reno. But How cool is the fact that we're going to be getting a profit of in excess of $100,000 from one property transaction purchased at only $150,000? For those of you attending the masterclass in November, the guy who's doing this is going to be attending the event. He confirmed with me today, and he'll be able to share with you, because I'm that confident he's going to get it. He'll be able to share with you all those numbers. It'll be settled by then as well. He'll actually have ownership of it by then as well. So make sure you jump in that masterclass and be able to hear the story about how he's managed to do this. Epic deal. Cool. A little bit more about what you do get for your $295. Keep dropping the price. It was meant to be the big surprise, the big reveal. You get the obviously the 2-day event. It is done via Zoom. We run it from a studio. It is the most professional virtual event you will ever attend. I can guarantee that. We are interactive. We are jumping in and out of breakout rooms. You will not be bored. It's not just like watching TV. It's way more exciting than Netflix, because you get to talk to the stars and the mentors. We give you the ability to jump on online resources. Remember, I mentioned the one-on-one strategy call as well during the event. Lifetime support from the team at Wealth Mentor. You even have a strategy call. And believe me, the person you have a strategy call is pretty damn cool. Isn't she, Carol? You get a strategy call leading up to the masterclass as well, to make sure that we can align exactly what strategies are going to be right for you going into the masterclass, so that you can make sure you get the most out of those 3 days. Usually we have this on at $14.97, but we do have a really great opportunity, like I mentioned to you guys before, at only $295. And I'm that confident that you guys attending at $295 we're going to blow your mind. That if you, at the end of day one, are not happy with what we've offered, I'm quite happy to hit the refund button, and the money will pop back into your card, no questions asked. We're that confident with what we produce, guys. Why not take the opportunity to try and grow your wealth, grow your knowledge, and I guarantee you will continue to grow your wealth alongside it. The knowledge is the key. A quote there from somebody that has attended, which was Dino. Now, the ticket is not just for you, because we understand that it is very important to have your support around you as you go through this. So this is actually for 2 tickets to the Property Masterclass. Your partner joins at no extra charge. They don't even have to be sitting next to you. They can be on separate computers, no problem whatsoever, separate parts of the country, no worries whatsoever. Your partner joins at absolutely no charge whatsoever. So again, I'll just quickly jump through this, guys, so you know all the inclusions that we offer for 2 of you at only $295. Now, if you have any questions about what I've shared with you guys tonight, what I'm going to do is, when I do finish up the Power Hour, I'm going to stop recording. So everybody that didn't attend live, too bad. And the rest of you, we can actually unmute ourselves and answer any questions that you've got, talk through anything that we've shared with you guys. So I'd love to have a bit of a chat to you guys. So please feel free to hang around at the end, and let's catch up. You deserve to have the bonus of joining us live for this event. Again, guys, I don't know how else to reiterate, but the power of attending an event like the Property Masterclass will guarantee to change your viewpoint on property. You'll learn ideas that'll absolutely blow your mind in terms of what you are looking to create. And again, I do offer the complete money back in terms of the Property Masterclass. So we're at that time where we get to decide what path we're going to take. We get to make a decision to change your life, your future, of your children, the legacy that you're leaving. So our options that we have, we do nothing. We keep doing what we've always done, or we take action by investing in yourself. Invest in yourself, grow your knowledge. The time is now. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight live. And for those of you watching the recording, I hope you've enjoyed it. I would love to have a chat to any of you guys after tonight, as well as anybody that wants to book in a call with me or Carol. Please feel free. Otherwise, I cannot wait to be able to see you guys at the Property Masterclass, which is coming up in just a few weeks. What a great way to end 2022. Those links again for you guys that are keen to either have a chat or join us on the Property Masterclass. Cannot wait to see you there, guys. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks you once again for spending your evening with me. And most importantly, and this is the best way to end any web class and any power hour, make sure that you stay awesome, everybody. Good night.